Settle in, it's gonna be a while. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 British movies that are way too long. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're tackling films with a British director and or cast that just shouldn't have been 2.5 hours or longer. In short, these are the films that no matter how good or bad they were, left cinemagoers shuffling in their seats. Number 10, Kingdom of Heaven. Coming in at a whopping 3 hours 14 minutes in its full-fat director's cut, guys, this Ridley Scott slog centers around a grieving blacksmith during the Crusades.
That is your oath.
The general consensus, unfortunately, is that it just doesn't quite have the depth and interest to absorb you for its duration.
No man ever needed a new world more. Imagine your sin and pain erased.
It very much relies on CGI and plenty of fight scenes which soon become tedious, and in terms of its visual style, it's very similar to work the director has already done. It feels done from early on, making its runtime a slow crawl to the credits.
How did my boy deserve it?
Number 9, Gandhi. It's a well-told story which saw Sir Ben Kingsley in his breakthrough role, but was it too long? At 3 hours 11 minutes, it certainly wasn't a breezy biography of the revered Indian leader.
I am asking you to fight against their anger, not to provoke it.
Although there is plenty to say about the head of the non-violent, non-cooperative independence movement against the UK during the fraught period that brought him mass recognition, the film chronicles his entire life, which explains why it surpasses the 3 hour mark.
After what they did at the massacre, it's only an eye for an eye.
An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind.
It was a well-received film, but its slowness and serious nature can make it feel much longer.
For me and the rest, if that is what you want, we will accept it.
Number 8, Les Misérables. Take 158 minutes of French history and combine it with lots of hit-and-miss singing, and this is what you get.
Can this be true? I don't believe what I see.
Despite its hefty running time, Les Mis doesn't really get going, and its overused computer graphics not only feel out of place, but soon become quite tedious.
The people of Paris sleep in their beds. You have no chance.
It's almost the same length as its stage version, which at least has the courtesy to give the audience a break in the middle. But this one carries on with its intense close-ups and over-stylization.
That's the color of despair.
Number 7, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Most of the films in this franchise are quite lengthy already, but the second installment reaches 2 hours 41 minutes.
Dobby, please, no.
Rather bizarrely, it's the second shortest book, but the longer of the movies, quite possibly the work of witchcraft. The pacing is slow in comparison to its predecessors and successors, and director Chris Columbus didn't work any magic in terms of adding anything particularly different or rousing.
What?
It was quite drawn out in the end, with some unnecessary scenes wedged in, making the wait for the climax painfully slow.
I'd still be you know where, so I'd just like to say thanks.
Number 6, The Dark Knight Rises. There is more than enough of the Caped Crusader to go around in this film, and with a total duration of 2 hours 44 minutes, it's certainly quite a sizable slice of everyone's favourite angsty, nocturnal justice fighter.
Mr. Spy.
This is down in part to its long flashback scenes and numerous subplots which often do little more than take us away from the main storyline.
Follow him.
Follow him.
We don't even get to see Batman himself until around the hour mark, which shows how drawn out the film is. And remember, this is one of the best DC films.
They know. They just don't care.
Number 5, Little Dorrit. Little by name, definitely not little by nature. This Charles Dickens adaptation was released as 2 3-hour installments, totaling a staggering 6 hours.
Try and imagine the impossible, Father. The impossible. It's happened.
Needless to say, it feels way too long for a modest love story. 6 hours, or a quarter of a day, is enough to make even the most ardent of Dickens fans feel a bit sleepy.
All things considered, very good.
It was reinterpreted by the BBC in 2008 as a 14-episode series totaling around 8 hours, so maybe it's a story that just can't be told in compressed form, just like his novels. Number 4. Spectre. Clocking in at just about 2.5 hours, our cut-off, you can practically see Daniel Craig getting older as the film progresses.
If you don't leave now, we'll die together.
I can think of worse ways to go.
To date, it's the longest of the 007 films, and the storyline isn't really too dissimilar to Skyfall, at least in the sense that it's more realistic and dark than the original Bond films.
Can't hear you, James.
In fairness to this particular installment, it's pretty tongue-in-cheek at times. Its throwbacks and cliches feel a bit predictable at times, and as a result, having less originality, it just feels way too long.
Hey, you need to take a breath and calm down. You're in shock.
Get away from me! Just get away!
Number 3. Dr. Zhivago. Director David Lean is quite well known for having made some rather extensive films during his illustrious career, and this 3-hour 20-minute Russian Revolution drama is no exception.
I don't want you to have to lie about me. You understand that, Yuri?
Upon its release, it was a commercial success but heavily criticised, partially for its length and pacing, with critics stating that it felt slow and tiresome.
Yes.
Rather than focus on the realism behind the revolution, it was instead highly romanticised and stretched out beyond belief. Lean attempted to rage quit the industry due to the critical response he faced, but instead carried on making hefty, long epics.
You're not immaculate! I know you! Do you hear me?
Number 2. Lawrence of Arabia. David Lean strikes again, and takes his sweet time doing it. With 10 Academy Award nominations and 7 wins, Lawrence of Arabia is obviously a film with a fantastic level of acclaim.
None of my friends is a murderer. You are angry, English.
But it also clocks in at an unbelievable 3 hours 48 minutes. Magnetic as Peter O'Toole is, we see just too much of him here, as his iconic character successfully helps organise the Arab revolt against the Ottoman Empire during World War I.
No prisoners!
Although a true cinematic classic, in a world of fast-paced CGI action, it feels simply way too long.
What is it, Major Lawrence, that attracts you personally to the desert?
It's clean.
Number 1. Hamlet. From the reigning champ of adapting the Bard's works, Kenneth Branagh's version of this world-famous tale is definitely a tragedy, time-wise.
The humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh.
Despite its stellar international cast, which includes Kate Winslet, Robin Williams, and Billy Crystal, it goes on for over 4 hours. Like other entries in this countdown, it's a popular movie with wonderful visuals and a gripping story, but when there's over 240 minutes to absorb, the Shakespearean dialogue and action becomes tiring.
Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects.
And with him as the titular character and director, it's basically a barrel full of Branagh.
He sends to know if your pleasure hold to play with Laertes, or that you will take longer time.
I am constant to my purposes.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.